Good morning, everyone. We will now begin the morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters, asking God and Meishu-sama to protect and bless us as we participate today in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. Takaamahara ni kamsumarimasu. Kamurogi kamurami no mikoto mochite. Sumemi oya kamuizanagi no mikoto. Tsukushi no himuka no tachihana no. Odono ahagi harani misogi harai. Nari maseru arai dono kamitachi moro moro no magagoto tsumi kegare o harai tamai kiyome tamae toma osukoto no yoshiro amatsu kami kuni tsukami ya oyorozu no kami tachi tomo ni ame no fujikoma no mimi uritatete kikoshime seto kashikomi mo maosu. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae sakihae tamae. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae sakihae tamae. Oshie mi no kami mamori tamae sakihae tamae. Oshie mi oyanushi no kami mamori tamae sakihae tamae. Kum nagara tamachi haemase. Kum nagara tamachi haemase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us, pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated. We will now receive Group Johrei.
May God and Meishu-sama bless you.
Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to Meishu-sama's teaching. Gratitude. How grateful I am. God blesses me with good health and grants me the honor of channeling divine light for the healing of others. No words spoken or written can describe the great blessings God has given me. How can I praise Him enough for all this happiness? I cursed all the world and blamed others for my difficulties. Now, all the negativity in my mind is gone, and it is from my spiritual viewpoint, the extreme changes of climate and weather are all man-made. For instance, if the majority of the people in an area entertain righteous and peaceful thoughts, the climate will be mild and normal. But if a large percentage become extreme in their thinking and their attitudes lack the warmth of love, they reflect on the weather, making it colder than it would naturally be for that particular season. Human speech also has great influence on climate and weather. Words that express negativity, lies, complaints, grumbling, abuses, etc., form clouds in the spiritual realm. I once had a friend who could see the spiritual vibrations of words. He said that when loving words were spoken, he could see a bright whitish light coming from the speaker's mouth. And when hateful words were uttered, he could see something that looked like a black soot being emitted. This soot-like substance adds clouds to the spiritual realm. When they increase to a certain point, purification automatically occurs and disperses the clouds. This is a law of nature at work.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters. Today, I'd like to share one faith experience from Luisa Maria Cardoso Gomes Segurado Urbano. She's from the Lisbon Center, Portugal. Luisa Maria has been a Johrei member for 12 years, and she gives service at the Johrei Center in Lisbon. She has a son who has been working in a company for 8 years. It was part of a project that at its end would terminate his contract with that company, and from that perspective, he would most likely no longer have a job. The situation caused her some concern, especially with the consequences of the pandemic, where there is a strong tendency for many companies to close their activities. Over time, she about her financial and professional situation, and although she thought about these issues from time to time, she didn't feel so worried anymore. In May last year, during the seminar in preparation for the Paradise on Earth service, she committed, in addition to other goals, to start her home garden in Vasa, expand to one of the terraces of her son's apartment. At that time, she talked about it to him in a very superficial way, but saying that she would like it to be through the method of nature farming recommended by Meishu-sama. She began to see this as a great opportunity for her son, in some way, to be involved in the work of construction of Paradise on Earth. But everything ended up being just words. At the end of the quarantine, she finally managed to go to church. When talking to the minister, he immediately asked her how her commitment about the home garden was. She said that she had not done anything yet because she was having difficulties. The minister asked her not to give excuses and that she needed as soon as possible to take action. Thus, she proceeded to correct her zoning, and when she left the church together with her husband, they went straight to the supermarket. At the entrance to the supermarket, she immediately spotted seedlings of aromatic herbs that she wanted to buy. She bought them and started taking the first steps towards achieving her goal. She was very excited. On the same day, at the end of the afternoon, she was with her husband walking in a park when their son informs that at the end of his work, he would join them. He said that he had been talking to the director of the company and that, to his surprise, this director assured him to give continuity to the project he was involved with. Due to the specifics of the work, only he would remain in the company to complete the project online from home, which will allow him to not have transportation and parking expenses. On top of that, once the project is finished, he got assigned to a new project. They felt this was really exceptional and that they were facing something quite mysterious. Afterwards, they talked about the home garden, and he told Luisa that he wanted to have a big planter to sow other things that make shrubs. He was very excited about what he wanted to sow and had already researched how to grow garlic and lettuce. With this situation, she was able to experience the strength that exists in the act of materialization. As the spiritual precedes the physical, by correcting her zoning, it was enough to go into action for situations that bothered her to get unlocked. Starting with the nature farming column of salvation, everything happened very quickly. She further learned that we have to do our part if we want help from God and Meishu-sama. As soon as she got home, she went in front of the consecrated picture of Meishu-sama, assuming the commitment to materialize her gratitude through a special donation and the preparation of flowers of light to be distributed in her neighborhood. Luisa Maria is very thankful to the Supreme God, Messiah Meishu-sama, and the minister who assisted her to live through this wonderful experience. And still another experience I would like to share with you this morning is from Lilian Gandolfo. She's from Campo Belo, São Paulo, Brazil. Lilian is a nephrologist doctor. She has a hemodialysis clinic and works on shifts in hospitals. In early May 2020, she woke up with edema in her face and a slight fatigue. The next day, she went to the emergency room of a hospital near her home and had tests done. A possible picture of pulmonary embolism was found. Therefore, she had to stay in the hospital. She felt a lot of concern about her health because as a doctor, she knew the risks of that diagnosis. In this way, she surrendered her purification to God and prayed repeatedly, as this calms her down and helps her better understand what God and Meishu-sama expect of her in times of difficulty. After that, she channeled Johrei to herself until she fell asleep. Only in the afternoon of the following day was she able to report to her minister. The minister shared an experience of faith presented at one of our online services. In it, a woman diagnosed with COVID-19 was instructed to be helpful during the period she was hospitalized, giving Johrei to other patients. The minister suggested Lilian to practice the same. She wondered how she would do it, as she was in isolation in the bedroom. So, she began to offer and channel Johrei to doctors, nurses, nutritionists, and other professionals who came into the room to take care of her. On the first day, she channeled Johrei to 7 people. The next day, there were 19. and on the third day, 13. On the fourth day of hospitalization, she repeated the tests and the results were normal. Lillian continued attending our online services, channeling Johrei to co-workers, and keeping herself in a state of gratitude. After a week, already completely asymptomatic, she was discharged from the hospital. She had to be in isolation for 14 days at home. As she lives alone, she channeled Self-Johrei. In addition, she received the mission to get in touch with attendees and members who were inactive in practicing their faith. One of them, after her contact, had his sacred focal point or Hikari re-blessed and resumed his dedications. At the same time, she sent the online services link to acquaintances and offered to pray for them. Some showed interest, and she still is following up on them. Lillian feels immense gratitude to God, Meishu-sama, and her ancestors for having overcome this purification and receiving permission to serve the divine work, even in an apparently limiting and unfavorable circumstance, such as when she was hospitalized. Currently, she maintains our practice of faith at home, dedicates weekly at the Johrei Center, and provides religious assistance. She is also striving to further study Meishu-sama's teachings related to human health. Her commitment is to further serve in the divine work, connecting many people to God and Meishu-sama, inspiring them to become useful instruments in building a better world. Thank you very much for attending this morning service and listening to these faith experiences. I wish you a very wonderful day. Thank you very much.
This brings to a conclusion of our morning service. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a blessed day.